I've been waiting a long time to release this one. This legendary rock band just knew that this song was going to be really big. So it was pretty perplexing when it finished in third place out of the 4 singles released from the record. I mean, it was a strange song structure in that the chorus doesn't show up in the last 30 seconds of the song, and there's a guitar solo in the first 30 seconds, unheard of. But, its promise would grow over the decades, and when a big show wanted to cover it in their landmark episode, the legendary guitarist from the band was really nervous that it would ruin the song, turn it into Mary Poppins, taking all the heaviness out of it. Instead, it actually helped turn it into the biggest selling rock single ever. In a star-studded episode, we get the story from the principal band members of this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band and some of these legends.
It's one of the greatest songs ever.
It's an anthem for people not to give up, which is a beautiful thing to write music about.
Hey, music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. If you can remember the B-side to every 45 or cassette single or CD single that you bought, this channel's all for you. Make sure to subscribe below so you never miss out. Stories straight from the legends. Click the bell, all that jazz. Also, check out our exclusive content on Patreon. The link for that's below. So it's time for another edition of our series, The New Standards. This is the show that takes an in-depth look into songs that transcend genre and decade and fads. Songs that are monumental touchstones in our culture and our society. Previous episodes, we've covered Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, also Hotel California by the Eagles, amongst others. But today, we have a star-studded episode with Sammy Hagar, Carlos Santana, Toto, Panic at the Disco, and principal members of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band Journey. They're here to break down the making and the meaning of their monumental 80s anthem, Don't Stop Believin', the biggest selling digital rock song of all time. Don't stop believing. Written by the legendary trio of founder guitarist Neal Schon, GOAT singer Steve Perry, and keyboardist Jonathan Cain, here we have an in-depth look at what inspired every part of the song, from the guitar solo in the first few seconds that scared the hell out of record executives, by the way, to the chorus being almost an afterthought. How the song went from being an also-ran from their massive album Escape, with 2 songs actually doing better, to its resurgence and its use in The Sopranos and Glee and really every aspect of pop culture. It just blows other legends away. They're still in awe of the power of this incredible anthem, and they're going to share that next. So get ready, streetlight people. Here's the definitive story of Don't Stop Believin'. As we go into these interviews, I want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear, the glasses that I always wear. Zenni is spectacular. You can't beat the price, you can't beat the quality, the features, and the selection. Go to Zenni.com to up your game and design your own frames today. Zenni.com. Out of the 4 singles, there were 2 other singles that did better on this album. But Don't Stop Believin' became this huge pop culture event that now has touched every generation that's standing right now. Just a small town girl, why do you think it resonated with people so much?
This song is ingenious, not knowing back then how ingenious. Musically, lyrically, it was highly unusual arrangement for a song to go on AM radio and FM, and be of that structure. At the time, Jonathan's dad told him, don't stop believing, son. And so he had that in the back of his head, and he said, that's my idea, and he started playing.
Arguably one of the most iconic opening piano parts in history. Love it.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, every time you hear, you know exactly where it's going. It's that song.
Well, my favorite thing is when kids say, I learned how to play the piano because of your song.
Down, 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 down. Oh, that's pretty cool, We're playing the group, And I just started playing, the arpeggiated thing really tightly and in time, and then sped it up, and I gave him the choo-choo train. That's like a symphony part.
Yeah.
You hear it if you listen into symphonies, you hear violins all the time going like that same signature. And it's probably just from me listening to symphonies and something that rubbed off on me and nobody thought of playing on guitar. And everybody was trying to figure out how I did it because everybody's trying to think, how's he doing that?
Right.
It wasn't really a guitar solo spot. A lot of people were scared to death of it, that it had a big break with the train guitar. They're like, oh, the vocals are going away that long?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm scared, maybe we should chop it out. I have to really give, our manager at that time credit for Herbie Herbert. In our contract with CBS back then, we had full control, artistic control of everything. They never heard one little bit of a song until the album was completely done. Sequence, done, artwork, everything. Here it is. They didn't like it. It was like tough shit. We love it, and it's staying.
Yeah.
So it was actually the guitar came first, then the lyrics came after that.
In a smoky room, smell of what cheap perfume.
When it was kind of just taking its form, and Steve was honing it in, melody-wise and singing everything.
I remember he had a really bad cold, and he left at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and we finished the track without him, And he came back the next week and sang it in like 4 takes. It was like, and then we did the backgrounds.
And before you knew it, then I had a B section, and then I rewrote all the bass parts. Decided I wanted to put some Jack Bruce in there and counter melody. That kind of makes the thing move. It makes it bop. And then that prompted Steve Smith to come up with the very unique drum beat that he came up with. Boom, 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 boom. Because if you really listen to the tempo, if it was played, straight 4/4, like,
Right.
it would have been really boring. Yeah. So he came up with something that really propelled and rhythmically moved that song along with the bass line.
Because you take it up to the next notch. That's what's so great about Don't Stop Believin' is it keeps moving up and moving up. And the chorus doesn't come in until the last 30 seconds of the song. When the guitar solo picks up right there.
I think Neal's one of the best guitar players out there. I don't think he gets enough love, to be quite honest with you. I think he's absolutely a stunning musician. His choice of notes, his vibrato, he's just a wicked player, man. Can be very melodic, but he's got vicious chops too, man.
Neal, he's just got really good melodic instincts. Like I said, when he slows down, he can play as fast as anybody. And but he always takes a pause and plays something really fluid and cool. Yeah. He's got a great sense of stretching and vibrato. It's never, it's like,
the guitar part, at least for the last 20 to 30 years, that kids have taken out the broom or the whatever, and they do the air guitar with it. It's right there with the classics of all time. Stairway to Heaven. It's probably the only rock song that's come out in the last 35 years, one of them, that you can put right next to the likes of Hey Jude and Hey Joe, and you know what I mean?
We're all shocked. We're still shocked, but very happy. It was wild because when we finished it in the studio, before it was mixed, I listened to it and I go, wow, I think this song is going to be really big. At the time, I thought it would be one of the bigger songs off the record. And then when it did come out as a single back then, and it wasn't as big as Open Arms or Who's Crying Now.
Who's Crying Now, yeah.
And I was like, wow, I don't get that. And then to have it happen so many years later was wild.
Hey, just a quick reminder to get your tickets to our upcoming show with Sammy Hagar, Red Rocker. It's the stories of his greatest songs with Montrose, Van Halen, and his solo career with music and special guests. It's like Inside the Actors Studio meets MTV Unplugged. Live with me on stage Saturday, October 29th. Get your tickets at the link below. Decades later, Don't Stop Believin' would have a resurgence that would encompass every facet of popular culture, taking it from a top 10 hit in 1981 to the biggest selling digital rock song in the history of popular music.
onion rings.
Don't stop believing.
When you saw The Sopranos that it got used on the last episode of The Sopranos, is that where you really knew that Journey isn't just a 20-year band, this is a legacy band, man. I mean, this is multi-generation.
Things were starting to roll. The catalog was starting to get out there, and people were very hip to it. But when, Sopranos closing episode ended on the song, that was really a heavy note. I love the series.
I was gonna say, you're probably a big fan.
And I missed the last one, but my phone was blowing up, man. And then, Irving came with the Glee idea, with this new show, and I was scared to death of it. To tell you the truth, because nobody had seen it yet. And the way it was explained to me was like this kid show, right, with singing pop versions of our songs. And I'm going, man, the songs are already pop. Now you're going to take all the nuts out of it, and what are we going to be left with? And I was afraid that, it was going to turn into this Mary Poppins thing, And I was really scared, man. But, the opportunity was there. And so, you know what? It's a true blessing to look out there now and see the fans. We have definitely 3 generations, sometimes 4 generations.
No question.
When I'm looking out there, every year it's getting younger and younger and younger.
It's an anthem for people not to give up, which is a beautiful thing to write music about,
I had a really rough life after I got out of the military. I served in the Navy. I lost one of my best friends over in the war. I got back and I found out that I had PTSD. I lost my son because of being homeless out on the streets after 6 months. Seems like when everything was going wrong and I heard "Don't Stop Believin'," it really made me believe I could accomplish anything. I was able to turn my life around. I was able to get my son back, and I just recently got married.
It's on the radio every day. It just won't go away. Journey concerts are sold out arenas.
It's one of the greatest songs ever. It's got a good spiritual, uplifting lyric. It's got one of the greatest melodies, sing-along melodies. You can't forget it the second you hear it. And what the guys are playing underneath it, they're kicking butt.
My mom has MS, and a few years ago she went into a coma that the doctors told us she wouldn't wake up or recover from. And so my family and I put headphones on her and started playing her favorite song, Journey's Don't Stop Believin', and within the week her toes started tapping and she came out of the coma and made a full recovery.
He's absolutely the best guitar player I've ever met and heard in my life.
I'm so glad you're here, that you made it. There's a very inspirational message that you sent about the song.
For me, Journey it's Steve Perry's voice, it's Neal Schon's guitar playing. It's just everything. Jonathan King's piano. It's Steve Smith, drummer. It's just a super group of superhumans who just make this awesome rock ballad music, anthems.
I just think that Journey is the most underrated rock band in the world.
There's a lot of history between all of us, Yeah. And listen, you can't deny their success.
No.
The songs are timeless.
Always a fan of their music. Some of the best rock songs, ever written, I think, have come out of that band. And they've had this huge resurgence of popularity, which is gigantic.
Don't stop believing.
I think that we created timeless music. And Steve and I and Neal, agreed that we wanted to be on the radio. That was our biggest dream. What's the biggest rush? That's to be on the radio. The radio's kind of fading away, but we're still here.
In the 60s, it was the Beach Boys. In the 70s, the Eagles. In the 80s, it was Journey. You guys were America's band, and you still are.
Around the world, don't stop believing.
I give really huge respect to what they do and to the legacy that they have built all these years. So I am just trying to follow the blueprint that Mr. Perry has left behind. It's an amazing, it's an incomparable blueprint. I mean, nobody can top it. Nobody can can touch it. I'm just so happy to be here, grateful to be here enough to be, to be able to continue the legacy.
Yeah.
And wow, it's given me and my family a great life.
It makes people feel good. I think that had a big deal to do with why this record is still around and why we're still around.
So Journey is going to be celebrating their 50th anniversary next year with plenty of tour dates with their special guest Toto. And also, you got to check out their new album Freedom as well. I'll link to both of those below. It's a can't miss. Thanks so much for watching. Leave us a comment about Journey and Don't Stop Believin' and the Escape album, one of the greatest albums of all time. What are your memories of the first time that you heard Don't Stop Believin'? First time you heard Jonathan Cain's incredible piano? What are your thoughts on their 50 years as a band? Let's have a great discussion below. Make sure, again, to get your tickets to Sammy Hagar Live, Professor of Rock Live, with me next week. I'm excited. Again, if you like our video, subscribe below to be a part of this community. Until next time, records and the truth, my friends.